Hello, I'm Patrick Vallance, Government Chief Scientific Advisor, and I hope you have a brilliant day at this meeting of the Protect Group. Let me just take a step back and talk about the beginning of the pandemic and the need for research to really inform what was going on. It was that very clear realization that led to all sorts of funding mechanisms, and at some point early in 2020 we realized we needed to try and set up a mechanism to have national core studies to address key problems in areas like immunity, what was really happening and how can that be used for vaccines? How do we understand how long immunity lasts for? Therapeutics, vaccines, trials ready for those, the epidemiology, what was really happening in the country, and of course, the importance of transmission, and ultimately, of course, things like long COVID. So the core studies were set up to try to bring together a focus on key critical policy and operational questions that government needed answers to. And it needed answers through multidisciplinary approaches, bringing together people from different areas, academic areas, but also bringing together people from academia, industry, government, private research institutes, other areas, in order to try to get the best possible integrated answer to the question. And this concept of the National Core Studies, of course, is exemplified in Protect and what you've done. Really trying to understand, where was the virus transmitting? Where does it transmit? What are the environments that make it more likely to transmit? How does that transmission occur? What are the mechanisms that might be used to try and reduce transmission propensity? And this notion of a very clear sort of mission-orientated goal to inform policymakers and operational activities has underpinned all of the National Core Studies. What I've heard, and I hope it's true for you in the room, is that this has actually galvanized people to come together and work together in ways that haven't always been possible before. It's also created infrastructure and resources which we need to work out how to maintain. It's created new collaborations, interactions, ways of working, which can benefit us at all times. And this is true everywhere across the National Core Studies, and really true in what you've done. I think it's remarkable how you brought together the multiple different disciplines, how that has shed light on things that haven't been thought about before, how it's enabled groups like HSE and others to think about how it interacts better with academia going forward. You've created something special which fundamentally rests on you as individuals working in a collaborative way, but you've created resources, you've created momentum, and it's important now that this becomes self-sustaining. Of course, during a pandemic, it's possible to do extraordinary things, and it's possible to get money out of the door much more quickly in ways that aren't possible during normal times when there are competitive peer-reviewed processes and so on. But infrastructure needs to be maintained, because this is something that's important as a baseline to grow from. The ability of you all to come together to think about sources of funding to enable projects to continue is important, and something that I know the research funding agencies and charities are all keen to make sure, with high quality work, that they can do their best to make sure that these things are funded. So as I look back at what you've done and some of the answers you were able to provide and some of the insights on the environments in which transmission was taking place, the ways in which policy might be implemented in order to try to reduce that, the future needs for things like ventilation in buildings and the reports that has stimulated, such as the work being done by the Royal Academy of Engineering, are all incredibly important. I hope that you found a way of working which has slightly challenged how we've done things in the past and perhaps could be maintained. I hope that you found areas that are rich seams for investigation that will have practical outputs. And I hope that this meeting will stimulate new ideas. This problem is one that humanity lives with. We will get further infections, we will have future pandemics. and making sure we learn the lessons from this one, use the data as effectively as we possibly can, do the work now that makes us fit for the future, and stimulate the projects of the future is a crucial endeavour. And I want to thank you all for everything that you've done, because it has made a difference, and more importantly, it will make a difference in the future. And I hope to learn how you've planned to pull all this together, work together, and keep much of this going to answer the questions that really matter. Thank you.